Drivin Ivan here today with something very, very rare. The Chevrolet Corvair Corsa Fitch Sprint. Super rare. John Fitch was an amazing race car driver, innovator, inventor, and he came up with this and also the Phoenix, which you can see in my Greenwich Concours video. I'm going to drive this, I'm going to review it. Smash that like button, subscribe, links below to buy me a coffee and other cool videos. But right now, let's get going on this ultra rare Fitch Sprint Corvair. Wow, so cool. So it starts off as a regular 1966 Corvair. The flat six in back, kind of suspension just like a 911, and that's why John Fitch really wanted to go ahead and improve upon the Corvair, because it already had good bones. You know, in America, Ralph Nader calls a car like this unsafe at any speed because it was different than most American cars, because the engine's back here behind the rear axle. Of course, Germans know how to drive. That's the Porsche 911, which started around this time, but the 356 was already like that. And so in America, this might be unsafe at any speed, according to Ralph Nader. If you want to see something hilarious, watch my Corvair review of my 1964 convertible that I had. Ralph Nader actually signed something for me, and it's kind of hilarious what he wrote. You'll have to check that out in that video. But yes, this car was very sporting in nature. Really, the Corvair was a great design, but it's just that Americans didn't know how to drive rear-engined, rear-wheel drive cars. And so this started as a 140 horsepower 1966 Corvair, as I said. And then the designer, his friend, added on the sort of flying buttress look back here. And again, 15 more horsepower with the engine modifications and such. But he wanted to build a car that would rival the likes of a Ferrari and all the imports with American power. And, you know, still have it as a car that anybody could sort of buy. Not too expensive, of course, a fraction of the price of those cars. And, you know, they kind of said that they were going for maybe a little bit of a Ferrari 250 LM. Yeah, I don't know if I see that, but it is kind of cool when you think about the stock shape of the car. These knockoff wheels are absolutely awesome. And yeah, modifications were made to the suspension, and really what you had here was a very, very, very sporting automobile that was much better than the stock Corvair, which had, you know, questionable suspension. They added 1965. They added something that really got rid of that kind of lift-off oversteer and things like that. But yeah, that was the second version of the Corvair, which started in 1965. And yeah, it's just a beautiful shape here with the headlights in front, quad headlights across. Just I like these cars. I like the Corvair anyway, and I just love the look. Look at that! Wow, Sprint. That is so cool. Yeah, very special, this one. The black and silver paint. This owner has been a big fan of this car, and he's had it for a while, and I think he sold it once and bought it back. It's just a car that, you know, where are you going to find another one? They're very rare. They sold parts, apparently, so you could make sort of the car, but not really all of the car and things like that, kind of people would buy. So, you know, they're rare. There's not many of them out there, and this one is an original, very good survivor car that has all the history there, and it's just really, really, really good. I can't wait to hop in and drive it. Here it is on the cover of Car and Driver from September 1965. Cost 50 cents back then, in case you're wondering. Look at all those parts. You see? Pretty cool, huh? But there you go. The interior looks pretty stock Corvair. She got a manual gearbox here. Corsa, roll-up windows, nice little detailed door card, as would be back then. Your air conditioning, little corner window there. I remember that from our Dodge Dart. Yeah, like I said, I had a 64. My dad had one. That's one of the reasons I bought one also. But yeah, look at these sporting gauges for the time. Wow. Big wood steering wheel. If you wanted leather, by the way, that was an option for $9.95. 7,800 miles, huh? Look at that working clock. That is so cool. All those deep gauges there, just awesome. AM radio, that's awesome. A couple more gauges down here. Wow. Of course you need your ashtray, don't you? Of course you do. Look at that keyhole there. Cocoa mats, they always look great. Pedals, normal spacing for an American car back then. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the Dodge Dart GT that we had, the steering wheel. Really, really nice. Absolutely. I do miss my Corvair, but this one is oh so very special. Hi, Krabby. Body by Fisher, which you see in a lot of American cars, including my first car, my Chevelle 307. If you want to know what I drive, by the way, you can search what does Drivin Ivan drive. That's a pretty cool thing to do. But look at the storage back there. Yeah. Little tray back there again, because, you know, he deleted the rear seats because you don't need those in your sporting GT car, do you? No, of course you don't. So there you have it. A sporting interior for the time. And yeah, this is just a step above the normal Corvair, which was, you know, your family truckster in many cases. You can see how this kind of fits over top here. And really just a special treatment all around. And there you go. Now we will look at the trunk and then check out the engine. Have you smashed that like button and subscribed yet? Okay, here's the frunk. Familiar to any Corvair owners. Very nice. It's actually a huge trunk, so really, really nice. But this is one of the things they didn't like about it. You know, there's no engine if you get into an accident. So that's one of the safety things that Ralph Nader didn't like. But phooey to Ralph Nader. There you go. Flat 6 engine. Started off with 140 horsepower, but it's 155. 202 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 9.8. Top speed of maybe 110, 115 miles per hour. So really more than the original engine. He didn't want to do a turbo though, because this really gives you a smoother power band all the way across without the lag of a turbo back in the day. But really, as I said, the layout is just like a Porsche 911. And now it's time to get in and drive. Woohoo! Okay, so the throw's a little bit, not too long. Nice. You know, you're dealing with mid-60s here, so you don't get a snicky Miata shifter or an H-gate Ferrari. Watch my reviews of those cars, especially Ferrari H-gate. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I forgot to mention, look at these cool cup holders, and you got this little storage here. You know how I like to really tell you all about the car. And in a lot of my videos, I show the night look, but unfortunately, I won't be spending the night with this one, but I will be driving it. Here we go. So yeah, the owner was just saying that this car has more horsepower than the 911 from this era. I just reviewed the 73 and a half 911T as we get going down the street here. Wow. But yeah, it's a much more soft ride. It's a little bouncy, even kind of funny that it's been fixed up by John Fitch, very famous inventor, race car driver. I mean, he won races at Sebring, and he won lots of SCCA races, and also the Mille Miglia he won, and he was the only American on the Mercedes racing team, racing with the likes of Sir Sterling Moss and Juan Manuel Fangio. How's that for a credential? So, an amazing man who flew fighter jets back in World War II, and wow, he shot down a Messerschmitt German plane. He can't remember how many hours he really flew, and he was in that fateful race in 1955 that really stopped Mercedes Mercedes racing career for a while. The SLR Mercedes, they're an amazing car. You can see that car actually. I do a tour of the Mercedes Museum in Germany, and I show you that car. It's also on the Fast Transporter too, which is another cool Mercedes car. And I even show you the Popemobile that day. Plus I tour Porsche and show you all the cars in that museum. But absolutely amazing that he raced, and on that day he was rumored to be the one that had that fateful, terrible crash that killed many spectators. Horrible, the worst motor racing crash ever. But he was actually drinking coffee. He had just drank coffee with the driver who died's wife, that French driver, and he was safe. But they told his family actually that he had died or was in that crash. So his a lot of false reporting that day. But an engineering genius who after that wanted to improve safety in racing, and he invented those round sand holders that stop cars from being damaged when they hit them, so you can put them off areas on the highway and places like that. And eventually he got those built. So he was an inventor, and he said, you know what, he raced Porsches, he raced Mercedes, he raced Ferraris, and you know, he raced the Allards with the Cadillac engine. And I just saw one of those actually, MGs, Cunninghams. Yeah, actually Cunningham is kind of an interesting story, because Cunningham really took a liking to him and really sponsored his early career. I have a Cunningham on my channel actually. You can see it, C2R or whatever. There's one that comes to my local Cars and Coffee. Katie's amazing car. But just absolutely amazing, his storied history. So yeah, he knew what a 911 was like, and he came up with this one to build kind of a 911 for America. And here we go. Woo. Woo. Wow, that's better than your father's Corvair, I'll tell you that. A lot of play in the steering and things, but you know, it probably would have been a little more tight back in the day. But this was really a very fast car back in the day. And you know, it was 1966, and again, you're a fraction of the money of Ferrari or, you know, one of those foreign cars. And when you think about, you know, mid-engine cars really came into favor about this time, actually, the mid-60s. Ferrari was someone who never innovated. They would wait until cars beat them on a race. They waited until Jag developed disc brakes, and then they got them. But, you know, rear engine and then mid-engine really changed sports car racing and racing in general. And the Corvair was an innovative car. It just did not catch on in America because Americans can't drive. Let's be honest. In Germany, you know, you're expected to know how to drive, and you know, if you spill hot coffee on yourself in America, it's the person that handed you the coffee's fault. And in Germany, you know, they're like, well, if you spin a rear-engine, rear-wheel drive car like the Porsche 911, you don't know what the heck you're doing. So it's a whole different culture. But John Fitch was an innovator, and this is a really super cool car, and just so interesting to be driving this Corvair after you know, having my Corvair was definitely not a car that you wanted to really drive fast in. And this one, well, it is, you know. John Fitch was absolutely an innovator with the safety things that he came up with. And this car is very, very quick in terms of the other Corvairs. He did have the turbo, but again, he didn't want that lag. So really a nice this one is leather wrapped actually. That was a $9.95 option. Looks like wood, but it's actually a little vinyl or leather. But yeah, he was innovative, and he knew what a sports car should be. I mean, all that racing success he had, being the only Mercedes American driver, that's impressive. Racing with Sir Sterling Moss and Juan Manuel Fangio, and all those wins at Mille Miglia, Sebring, many Sports Car Club of America events he won too. And you know, when he retired, he lived to be in his 90s, and when he retired, he just managed Lime Rock Raceway, and so that's really, really cool. He was just a driving enthusiast. He drove into his 90s. He loved to race, and you know, he he called it, he kind of laughed about it because he wasn't really, maybe it was more of parading at that point for him after his storied career as a fighter pilot. He was even a prisoner of war. All sorts of crazy life experiences for this gentleman. But yeah, that Fitch Phoenix of his, I do show that car, and I think it's the Greenwich Concorde Elegance, and it's absolutely worth checking out. It's a very interesting shaped car, and you know, different than this one. It's kind of like it looks actually like one of the first Bizzarini cars, and maybe some people said it looks like a Corvette, but certainly a cool shape, and also a very, very innovative and rare car too. So with this 1966 Fitch Corsa Corvair Sprint, he built his kind of dream American sports car to compete with those European sports cars at a fraction of the price that, you know, anybody could order and at their Corvair dealership, and then he would have it delivered in Connecticut. And so, yeah, people bought the parts, people bought the car, and today they are very, very rare, actually. Prices ranging from about $15,000 to $35,000, I would say. The owner thinks there might only be like 10 or 20 survivors, and so it's a super, super rare car, and it's so amazing to drive a car like this. It's so rare, but yet kind of accessible in a way. Again, I had a Corvair, so it's interesting to see what kind of a hot-rodded car in the mid-60s is like, and this really does take you there. So with this 1966 Chevrolet Corvair Corsa Fitch Sprint, I am, of course, Drivin Ivan. And please do check out all my videos, all my car reviews. Search any car in Drivin Ivan. Want to know what I drive? Search what does Drivin Ivan drive. Watch my disc golf videos, my music videos where I play all the instruments, original music videos like Free Your Mind, which shows a lot of my car and guitar collection. That was my COVID project. I wanted to show all my guitars. And do watch that Corvair review, certainly. And this gentleman's collection is amazing. So far today I have reviewed the Iso Grifo, the TVR 2500M, Porsche 911T, and there's still many more cars to go. So I hope you watch all of those, and check out my Bizzarini review too. Just again, search any car, Drivin Ivan. Thank you so much for watching.